Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you are watching this, know that I appreciate you. It is I, Jay, and I'd like to welcome you to another day in the daily life of JR. It is Wednesday, November 4th of 2020, and it is, what time is it? I can't tell. 8:19 in the AM hours. And I'm headed to work. That's where I'm going to work. How was your evening? What are you thinking? And I'm not going to debate politics with anyone, but what are you thinking about the politics, the election, everything that's happening right now? What are you thinking about that? Because I have thoughts. I won't share my thoughts, but I have thoughts. I saw the 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. whatever speech there, whatever it was, 2 or 3, I don't remember. I saw that speech or heard that speech. I thought it was interesting. And now we're just waiting on some states to come in. Yeah. So, it's an interesting time. It's a really very interesting time. And I know that you've heard this all before from others, how interesting this time is, because we're in the pandemic and all of that great stuff. And yeah, that's a good part of why this time is interesting. That is a great deal of why this time is interesting. But I find it interesting even more so because not only are we dealing with the pandemic, but we're dealing with the presidency that we never thought would ever happen. And then we're dealing with the president that we never thought we'd ever have. And I don't mean just him as an individual. I mean, in general, the hysterics of it all. We did not think that we would have him as a president, but then we did not think that we would have this type of person as a president. And it has befuddled quite a few. It has befuddled quite a few. And I'm just wondering, what anyone is thinking about this whole thing. I mean, never in my life did I ever think that such a thing would happen. And I'm so grateful, in all truthfulness, that my grandparents are not here to witness this. The last that they saw was one that they never thought that they would ever see in their lifetime, and that is Barack Obama. But I'm grateful that they did not get to see this, because this would have taken them back to a time when they were younger, and it tainted their minds in such a way that it was difficult for them to even see, fathom, consider the Barack Obama situation. So I'm grateful that they're not here for this. None of my grandparents are here for this. I am grateful for that. But it's an interesting time because I'm looking at how people are handling this and how they believe that a good portion of this is all conspiracy. And it doesn't have to be conspiracy. It could just be the way things are supposed to be, played out. I was talking about this with a coworker yesterday, and we had talked about it before. We're all slightly of the same mindset. But her opinion is that grateful that he is in place, because what him being in place has done is opened the eyes of so many who had their eyes shielded by rose-colored sunglasses. So it's interesting to me for many reasons. The year 2020 is interesting for me, not just because of the pandemic and not just because of the presidency, but also because how we are handling the things that are happening to us. So some of us are pivoting and making other arrangements, and I'm watching some people that, you know, I've paid attention to before, but not as closely as I am now, and how they're handling the situation, how they are pivoting from one thing to another. I'm watching how people are using this situation, this pandemic, and this presidency to build their lives up versus wallowing in the despair of it all. And I'm seeing people wallow in the despair. Absolutely, I'm seeing that too. But I am grateful because I am seeing so many more people pivot from the negative, or what could have been a negative narrative for them, and turned it into something positive. I am hearing people say, because they have lost their jobs due to the pandemic and the presidency and how it handled the pandemic, they have actually made more money on their own as entrepreneurs. They've made more money than they did before when they were working for someone else. So when we get to the other side of this pandemic, when we move beyond this, when we're no longer wearing masks every day because of this, we will be looking at a sea of entrepreneurs that have been in business for at least a year, if not more at that point. Because we don't know how long this wearing masks thing is going to last. It could be another full year before we're on the other side of this thing. It could be another full 2 years before we're on the other side of this thing. So those entrepreneurs that have taken this opportunity and turned it into an actual lucrative financially opportunity will have been in business from a year to 2 years at that point and survived. I'm grateful for that. So even though I do not like where we are, I do not like the situation that we're in, I am grateful for it because I'm seeing people transform. I'm seeing them transform. The other thing I'm seeing is most of the people that are not doing as well, because for what they're not doing as well, it's usually because they were so stuck on a certain way of things happening for them, and that's been wiped out, and they didn't have an alternative. They were not open-minded to a possibility of anything else. So they're falling by the wayside and finding it difficult to live in this time. And to those people, I say, get up, create your plan B in the will of God, and move forward. To the people that are making it happen, I am saying kudos to you, because you understood that your life no longer had to depend on clocking in and clocking out on someone else's time clock, that your life no longer depended on you making someone else wealthy. When you could have been making yourself wealthy all along. There are so many people that had ideas and they said, if I weren't working, I could make it happen. And guess what? They're not working. They lost their jobs, and now they're making it happen. And there are so many people that said, if I lost this, I don't know what I would do, because this is all I know. that are literally trying to figure out what to do because that one thing was all they knew. And again, to you, I say, get up and come up with a plan B in God's will and work it out. Work it out. I was blessed enough to be able to leave one job and stayed employed the entire time, with the exception of the 3 weeks that I had to be off from my own COVID scare. But stay employed that entire time. And then even more blessed to have been able to leave that job and go into another job, making more money, doing something that is more in line with what I do on my own as a coach. Isn't that beautiful? And there are so many people that are saying they can't find work. And I understand, because for a very long time, I didn't think it was going to happen for me. I thought, and this is full transparency, I thought that I was going to just have to quit this job and make my business work, which I was prepared to do, totally. I was prepared to do that if I had to do it, because I was so uncomfortable in the place that I was in. So uncomfortable in the place that I was in. So I thought outright I was going to have to quit and then focus on making my coaching and my writing work for me, feed my family. But God said, I've got something else for you that's going to help train you for your next level. And He gave it to me. And gave it to me, no, I don't have health insurance. Nope, don't have a retirement fund set up through the job. Nope, don't have those things. But He gave me the salary that would allow me to be able to pay for my own health insurance, and it not cost me any more than it did on the previous job. And I can directly contribute to my 401k accounts that I have, and still not have it, majorly impact my day-to-day living. I can still contribute and pay the bills and have a little bit of money left over for myself. Now it's just a matter of me making certain that I can map it out, plan it out, accordingly. But I can do that. I'm blessed. There are so many people that do not have that opportunity. And they legit don't know what to do with themselves right now. They're like, what do we do? I'm trying to figure this out. What do I do? How do I make this work? Where is this going? What is this leading to? Help! There's so many that are right there, and they've broken down, and they've fallen on hard times, and they're being evicted from their apartments, and they're being foreclosed on, and all kinds of things are happening to them, and they have to be in the food lines because they can't feed their families, and they just don't know what to do. I could take this turn. Yeah, I could. They just don't know what to do right now. They are so uncertain about their lives. And I just would ask that you trust God, that you seek God, that you believe that everything that He said He was going to make happen for you, believe that He will make it happen for you. Believe that He will. He is a great God. He's a gracious God. He's a loving, kind, and caring God. And He does not want to see His children out in despair. And for some, as harsh as this may sound, for some, this is just the kick in the tail that they needed. Believe it or not, this is just the kick in the tail that they needed, so that they could get out and do what it is that He told them to do, so that they could see that they can't rely on just simply an income from an employer, and that's it. There's so many people that say that they don't know what their purpose is, but I also believe that if they would just ask God, they'd get the answer. He'd tell them what their purpose is. I told them yesterday at work, doing this, and actually this was the second time I'd said it in 2 days, and I, had not planned on saying it at all. Being a coach is not something that I had planned on being. I fell into it. It's a part of my purpose. And when that revelation came, I was like, wow, are you kidding me? This is what I'm supposed to be doing? Oh my gosh. And I feel good at it. I feel good doing it. I feel good being a comfort and a sounding board for people and helping them through their hard times. I feel good doing that. So if you're one or the other, trust God. That's the end. If you don't know what you're supposed to be doing and you've hit rock bottom because you lost your job due to the pandemic and the presidency, trust God. And if you have progressed and made the best of this situation and have become a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, and you made that thing happen, and by the end of this thing, you will have been 1 to 2 years into it, trust God. He's going to take you the rest of the way. Even when it looks hard, when it feels hard, and the customers kind of slow up a little bit, or the ideas don't come in as fast as they were before, trust God. All right, I am going to get something to eat because I did not have my cereal this morning. I did make my shake, but I did not have my cereal. So, with that, peace and blessings. Remember to walk in your purpose and know that I appreciate you.